Theodora Aυγερινοπούλου. I know her since too many years. I don't remember how many. She was always brilliant. She had a great career. Not only she's a political leader, but she's also a technocrat. She's an environmental and a climate expert, because often you have politicians who claim to know and to have the expertise, but they don't. They have other advisors and people next to them. Isidora, as they call her, Διονυσία, combines both. The political leadership and also the knowledge, a knowledge that she's always developing, because she's always learning. Every day we need to learn, to be informed, and this is the quality that she has. Currently, also in the previous parliament, she is the chair of the Environment and the Climate Committee of the Hellenic Parliament. She had a very important role as a special envoy of our Prime Minister on the Oceans, our Oceans initiative, and she has organized very, very successfully the Our Oceans initiative. It was 2 years.
A year ago.
A year ago.
Yes,
Time is flying.
April.
It was last year. It was one of the most successful Our Oceans event. So the link with, among other things, microplastics pollution is there. You will tell us much more, but of course you can share with us also your experiences on environmental protection and all what women can contribute in this process.
Thank you very much, George. And let me reveal how many years we know each other, because I just counted them. We know each other 26 years now.
26?
26 years, yes. And I say that because you are one of the persons that I really admire on a global level. And you are one of the most knowledgeable people that I have met about circular economy and environmental policy in general, including the integration issues of the European Union, because I know that when the European Union opened up its borders to accept new member states, George was there to educate other countries about the EU environmental law and the acquis communautaire, and help other countries join the European Union. And that's a great accomplishment by you and Europe in general, because Europe does have a lifestyle which is a sustainable lifestyle, and a lifestyle that respects the rights of the individual. And this is what we really wanted to share with the rest of the world. And I think that we have done that. And it's a great day today, the Europe Day, to celebrate the achievements of all these that Europe and all the European people together have done. So by saying that, and thank you very much for this, the invitation, and I really like to thank the invitation of the other co-organizers of this event. It's a great honor for me to be here today, because I am among you, great achievers and also friends, because by looking the people that have joined us today, I recognize also long-lasting friends and friends for a lifetime, so I'm double happy today. And because you mentioned the plastics issue and the microplastics, I would like to say that I'm really worried as a woman and as a mother, because we also have Mother's Day tomorrow to celebrate, because of one single photo that I've seen a couple of years ago, and I cannot still forget. It was a photo on Times Magazine of a fetus. It was provided by a doctor that was working on how microplastics through the ocean, through the food, enter our body. And through our body, we women, we give these microplastics to our fetuses, and the hearts and the lungs and the rest of the organs of this fetus, including the brain, they were already full of microplastics. So what are we going today to do? Are we going to create a new breed, human plastic body. I mean, yeah. It was really alarming, really shocking, and this is why if we feel that we women have a more advanced role of guarantors for the future generations, we really have to take action right now to stop the plastic and microplastic pollution. This is really important. And there is an upcoming treaty that the whole world under the UN is trying to negotiate and conclude these days. And obviously, we're not really succeeding to conclude. It is the Global Plastics Agreement. We thought that we might have an agreement to stop at least single-use plastics within 2025. And this is not obvious that this is happening. So if any of you are working on the international level or within your governments in departments that are working with international multilateral environmental treaties, it is very good to spread the word that we have to ratify this treaty. And there is another treaty that soon we are going to ratify. Greece did it just yesterday. It is the so-called BB&J Treaty, which is the environmental treaty for the protection of the high seas in our oceans, 2/3 of our oceans. They need to be protected because up to now there is no such a legal regime. And why do I refer to this treaty? Because Europe is a leading continent for the ratification of this important treaty, combating, among other, the plastic pollution. And we belong to this group of countries that always are part of the coalition of ambition. Europe is very proud to celebrate the adoption of the Paris Agreement back in 2015 for climate change, and we did it. That happened because of Europe. And now, hopefully, we are going to succeed to ratify and enter into force the big treaty for the protection of our oceans. It is going to have like a big celebratory day on June 8th with the participation of our Prime Minister, Mr. Kyriakos Mitsotakis, and the President of France, Mr. Macron, and hopefully we're going to adopt this treaty. This is very, very essential for the environment. So Europe is indeed a very important leader, global leader for the environment. And Europe, of course, it's a very important leader for women and gender issues. Actually, as you recall better than me, Europe was there to adopt the very important regulation for women entrepreneurs and their obligatory participation to the decision-making models in entrepreneurships in large and multinational enterprises. There is a European Union regulation that is really forcing the multilateral enterprises to have among them women for the decision-making level. Because what the problem is right now, and it happens not only in businesses but also in politics and so on and so forth, is that yes, women are really achievers, and women, they're able to move forward in bigger and more important positions. But they're not there at the most high level when it is about policy and lawmaking, and especially the enterprises, they don't select women to be chairs at the board of directors when we have to take financial decisions. And this is happening also in politics, because you would see many women to be political leaders, like ministers and deputy ministers and secretary generals. But this is happening mainly in what we call soft portfolios. So we have women to be ministers in culture, in education. It is very good of tourism and a service. It was here before, the deputy minister, even in migration. But we think that they are able to mainstream only a gender and a sensitivity portfolio to this, to these ministries. How many ministers have you seen to be ministers of defense? A few, but not enough. Ministers of finance, because I'm not aware of many. I'm aware of some, but not aware of many. And even in the issues of environment, I will tell you that there are many ministers of environment around the world today, but not so many ministers of energy. So when people think that there is a very crucial portfolio that people should handle, then they give it out to men. That's a reality. But I would like to take a step ahead, because we are here, we have here very important people from not only Greece, but very friendly countries. And I would like to acknowledge the level of cooperation that we European women have among us. And I would like, since we have Cypriot representatives, to recall that there has been a Cypriot commissioner relevant to the environment, and that was Mrs. Androula Vasiliou, that held the portfolio of health, and health is very relevant to the environment, and she did a great job, and other Cypriot women in there, and also from Bulgaria, many important women that has joined the European Union. But personally, I owe part of my education and my environmental thought to a great Bulgarian woman. And her name I would like to mention is Maria Ivanova. Maria, she is a great professor at Yale University and Boston University, working when I was studying with her at Yale Center of Environmental Law and Policy. And she was a great inspiration for me. And not only that, but she was very decisive to make things change on the global level and on the on UNEP, on the United Nations Environment Program, that is a leading program of the United Nations for environmental issues. Maria was there starting from Sofia, joining the US to study, and then she became really a global thought leader on the environment. So thank you very much. We have really worked together, and thank you very much for bringing us here today to work more. But I would also like to make another comment, since obviously this is about personal experiences rather than let's say so, in general, talk about the environment and women leadership, that yes, we women, we have a very important role to play, and not only us, but usually it is us that do it, to be educators for our kids. I recall that back in COP19, that was headed by Spain. Spain talked about women and the environment, but women as mothers and educators. This is very important, because the way that people treat the environment, we learn it at either school or in our houses. And we have really to work more on that, and it is very important to focus more on environmental and sustainability education. And I have to say that I'm very happy that my son today, he made a correction to what I told him. We had some kind of papers, and I told him, Aristotle, would you like to please put it in the trash bin? And he said, Mom, what are you saying? There is no trash bin, it is only recycling bin. So it is very important to understand that a part of our leadership roles, we have to really focus in our kids, because they are going to save and shape the world in the future. So I don't really want to go through all the speech that I had prepared, because just to save your time. But what I would like to say is that women are now really thriving in many sectors, including the ESGs, including renewable energy, including, and this is very important because people, they don't think about it, including finance. And there are some studies, especially from the World Bank and other institutions, that say that when we put women in decision-making positions regarding finance, either in the public or in the private sphere, then what they tend to be is that they tend to take decisions that are very environmentally sensitive, and they are leaders in ocean finance, in climate finance, in sustainability finance, and this is very important. Even very important enterprises such as Stanley Morgan and very important banks, they have placed in their sustainable portfolio women leaders. So it is very important to promote women to study finance, not only STEM, we have done it, but finance, because they are going to support more the environment and also themselves. And by closing, I would like to congratulate the two organizations that they are working today, the Women Act and the More Women in Power. And thank you very much for taking this action, because what women really need is advanced networking and advanced knowledge how to do things better. Thank you very much for organizing this event, and we always stand by you to support our common goal to save life on Earth.